Hello everyone. So in the previous session I have explained the concepts of residue and calculation of residues with reference to simple pole and pole of order m. So in this session let me solve a few problems based on the residues. So here is the first problem. Find the residue at each of the poles. So whatever I have notes given so far, you just hope so everybody is copied that. So after that you put the heading, whatever the problems I am going to solve. Again the notes will not be sent, only theory part will be sent. So take the running notes of this problems. Find the residue at each of the pole. First problem is f of z is equal to z divided by z minus 1 into z square plus 1. Fine. Now I can write this given function as solution. So f of z can be written as z divided by z minus 1 into, now z square plus 1 can be written as z plus I into z minus I, right? Further if you simplify this, you will get back this, right? See here, a plus b into a minus b, a square is none other than z square, b square is none other than I square value is minus 1, so minus of minus will become plus. Fine. So given function I have rewritten like this. Now you are already familiar with the simple poles. Simple pole is none other than the values of z at which this function will not become analytical, right? So if you put z is equal to 1, you will get 1 minus 1 is 0. So anything divided by 0 will be infinity, so that the function will not become analytical. Therefore, I can write the function f of z has simple poles at z is equal to 1 and z is equal to minus I and z is equal to plus I. See here, I'll just write the statement so that you will understand well. Therefore, f of z has simple pole at z is equal to 1, z is equal to plus I and z is equal to minus I. If you want, you can cross check it. Replace z is equal to 1. So this term will become 0. So anything by 0 will become infinity. So that will become a pole. Next, z is equal to I. You put z is equal to I. This term will become 0. So anything by 0 will be infinity. Again the function will not become analytical. Again z is equal to minus I. Minus I with plus I will become infinity. So again the function will not become analytical. Fine. So these 3 points will become a pole of a given function. Now we have to calculate a residue of this function with reference to these poles. First let me calculate with reference to z is equal to 1. So for z is equal to 1, let me write the residue of this function f of z. So the formula for calculating residue of a function is with reference to a simple pole. I have already given in the previous session, you just go through that. So residue of function f of z, and it is represented by, you can write short form as well. So residue of f with reference to the point a, here the point a is 1, is given by limit z tending to a, z minus a into f of z. So this is the formula. Here the point a is 1, so I can write residue of f with reference to 1 will be equal to limit z tending to a replaced with 1, z minus a replaced with 1. Here the function f of z is given function. So let me replace the given function. Either you can use this or you can use this, one and the same. So let me use the modified form. So z by z minus 1 into z plus I into z minus I. Now replace z with 1. So as z tending to 1, see here, as limit z tending to a, meaning is I have just replaced a with 1. Before substituting the limit, you have to as we already substituted a value z as a, meaning is that what I have done is a value is 1. Clear? So just replaced a with only 1 here, but you should not substitute this limit in the problem. Fine. So this z minus 1 get cancelled. So in the next step you have to simplify. See here, limit z tending to 1. I'll just repeat once again. Here the point a is 1. So in place of a, only I have replaced 1 here. Wherever a is there, you just replace it with 1. So the minute when you replaced it with 1, before substituting the limit, the terms get cancelled. So if you are, without simplifying, if you are going to substitute the limit, you will get 1 minus 1 0. So 0 into anything will become 0. So first you have to cancel the term, then you just write down the remaining values. So you will get z plus I into z minus I. Clear? Now apply the limit. So you will get, as limit z tending to 1, you will get 1 divided by 1 plus I into 1 minus I. So I can write this as a plus b into a minus b, a square minus b square. right? So 1 divided by 1 minus I square value is minus 1. So minus of minus 1 will become plus 1. So it will give you 1 by 2. Therefore, residue of a function f with reference to a pole 1 is 1 by 2. Clear? Remember, key point here is after replacing a with 1, you should not apply limit directly. First you have to do cancellation. Afterwards you have to apply the limit. Hope so it is clear. It is only with reference to the point z is equal to 1. Now let me simplify with reference to z is equal to 2. Second pole is z is equal to I. Fine. Now as usual, write on the same formula. Residue of a function f with reference to a will be limit z tending to a, z minus a into f of z. Why? Because this is also a simple pole. All these three are simple pole. Fine. Now let me replace z with I. That is residue of a function f. Here the value of a is I. Limit z tending to I, z minus I into f of z value. You have to write this function z divided by z minus 1, z plus I, z minus I. As I already told you, the minute when you substitute a function, you have to do the cancellation. Afterwards, substitute the value of limit. So, limit z tending to I meaning is you just replace z with I. So, you will get I minus 1 into I plus 1. I'm sorry, yeah, I plus I here. Why? Because you are replacing z with I. Fine. So, you will get I divided by I minus 1 as it is. I plus I is 2I. Clear? Again, if you want, you can simplify, or else you can keep as it is. See here, I'll just cancel I and I, so that you will get I 1 divided by, since I and I get cancelled, 1 divided by 2 into I minus 1. So this is the residue of a function f with reference to I. Fine. Next we have to calculate the same residue of a function z with reference to minus I. So let me do here. So third one is when z is equal to minus I. So when z is equal to minus I, residue of a function f with reference to a, again you have to write the formula limit z tending to a. Hope so everybody is taking a running notes. Please take the running notes of these problems. So z tending to a in the sense here the value of a is minus I. F with reference to minus I is equal to limit z tending to I is a is minus I into z minus a is minus I. So minus of minus will become plus I here. It is I. I'm sorry, it is I. Into f of z I'll just substitute. So f of z I have already taken, it is z divided by z minus 1. I'll just write here z divided by z minus 1 into z plus I into z minus I. So z plus I get cancelled. So what you left with is limit z tending to minus I, z divided by z minus 1 into z minus I. Now replace z with minus I. So you will get minus I divided by minus I minus 1 into minus I. Clear? So after simplification, minus I divided by minus I minus 1, minus I is minus 2I. Now you can cancel minus I with minus I. So you will get I 1 here. In the numerator you don't have anything. So you will get 2 into minus I minus 1. So this will be the residue of a function f with reference to minus I. That's all. Why? Because we have only 3 poles here. Right? See, z is equal to 1 is one pole, z is equal to I, z is equal to minus I. So here I have calculated for z is equal to 1, for z is equal to I, and for z is equal to minus I. Hope so it is clear. Now let me solve one more problem. So here is the second problem. F of z is equal to z square divided by z minus 1 whole square into z plus 2. Now you can note that here you have two types of pole. Here z is equal to minus 2 is a simple pole. Why? Because when you replace minus 2, the function will not become analytical, so that z is equal to minus 2 will be one of the pole. Here z minus 1 whole square you have. So it is multiplicity m. That is 2 times repeating. Z is equal to 1. You have to put 2 times. Why? Because you have square here. Look at the first problem where I have solved. Here you have only z square. For z square is there only for the term z, but you don't have whole square. But in this problem you have whole square. So in this first problem everything is only repeating only one time. So it is a simple pole. Multiple pole in the sense which is repeating more number of times, that is more than one time. Now you are here you can clearly see that in the first term you have z minus 1 whole square. In the sense here the pole is repeating 2 times. One is repeating 2 times. So one is a pole of order m, that is order 2. Here z is equal to minus 2 is a simple pole. Fine. So I'll just write the statement. Solution. Here z is r minus 2. don't write z, minus 2 is a simple pole, right? Why? Because when you replace z is equal to minus 2, that will become a simple pole, whereas minus 1, that is plus 1, right? I'm sorry, 1 here. 1 minus 1 will become 0. So you have to put 1. 1 comma 1 is a pole of order 2. Why? Because it is repeating 2 times, so it is a pole of order 2. Suppose if it repeats 3 times, pole of order 3. Now it is repeating 2 times, so it is a pole of order 2. Now we have to calculate the residue with reference to minus 2, that is simple pole, and 1 1 with reference to pole of order 2. First let me calculate for z is equal to minus 2, that is for a simple pole. Z is equal to minus 2, that is for a simple pole. As I already told you, to calculate the simple pole, for the first problem I have explained, residue of a function f with reference to a is given by limit z tending to a, z minus a into f of z. This is the formula we have. Now replace a with minus 2. So you will get limit z tending to a is minus 2, z minus of minus will become plus 2 here into f of z. Clear? So as I already told you, first you have to substitute the function here. So let me substitute the function. Z plus 2 into f of z is z square divided by z minus 1 whole square into z plus 2. Now terms get cancelled. So you will get limit z tending to minus 2 of z square divided by z minus 1 whole square. Now replace z with minus 2. So you will get minus 2 whole square is 4. Here minus 2 minus 1 is minus 3. Minus 3 whole square is 9. So 4 by 9. Residue of a function f with reference to minus 2 is 4 by 9. So this is with reference to a simple pole. Now we have 1 comma 1, which is a pole of order 2. That is pole of order m. In a previous session, you just go through that video where I have discussed the methods for simple pole and pole of order 2. That is the pole of order m. For a general case I have done. Now in the second case we have a multiple pole. That is pole of order 2. So for that procedure is bit different. So let me do. Z is equal to 1 is a pole of order 2. Fine. So in such case I have given formula clearly. Please go through the previous session video. It is given by residue of a function f with reference to a is equal to 1 divided by m minus 1 factorial into limit z tending to a d by dz of, differentiate it with m minus 1 times of z minus a power of m into f of z. So this is the formula to calculate pole of order more than 1. Fine. So here the value of m is 2. Why? Because it is repeating 2 times, right? So order is 2. So m value will be 2. So let me replace residue of f with reference to a is another than 1. M is 2. So substitute 2 minus 1 factorial as limit z tending to a is another than 1 d by dz. See here 2 minus 1 is 1. If you want to, I can substitute here just for first time. Z minus a value is 1 power 2 into f of z. F of z I am going to substitute here only. So f of z is z square divided by z minus 1 whole square into z plus 2. Clear? Here z minus 1 whole square and z minus 1 whole square get cancelled. So you will get residue of a function f with reference to 1 is equal to 1 divided by 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 factorial is 1. So limit z tending to 1 d 2 minus 1 is 1. So d by dz of z square divided by z plus 2. So this is what we left with. Fine. Now let me differentiate this. Anyhow, quotient rule we have to apply. You know the differentiation. So limit z tending to 1. I'll differentiate now. You will get z plus 2 whole square, denominator square. Now denominator into derivative of numerator, that is 2z, minus numerator into derivative of denominator is z is 1, 2 is 0. So 1 plus 0 you will get here. Fine. So let me simplify this. Limit as z tending to 1. Limit as z tending to 1. What can I write here? Z plus 2 I'll just write as it is. Why? Because I have to substitute the limit, right? So instead I'll just do it here. I'll just continue here. So what I'm going to do is, in the next step, instead of writing each and every term, let me substitute the limit itself. So you'll get residue of a function f with reference to 1 will be, replace z with 1. So the minute when you replace limit, no need to write limit again. So you'll get 1 plus 2 into 1 is 2 minus 1 square. 1 plus 0 is 1 itself. So 1 plus 2 whole square you will get. Clear? Now 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 into 2 is 6. 6 minus 1 square is 1. Divided by 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 square is 9. So 6 minus 1 by 9. 6 minus 1 is 5 divided by 9. Therefore, residue of a function f with reference to 1 is 5 by 9. This is for a pole of order m. Since here pole is of order 2, so in place of m we have to take 2. Clear? So we have calculated residue as per the standard procedure. Now we can calculate the same residue of a given function by using one standard theorem, and moreover the theorem is very important as per the exam point of view. So it is called as Cauchy's residue theorem. So you just copy down this problem. Hope so it is clear. So we can find the residue of a given function by using the standard theorem called as Cauchy's residue theorem. So this theorem is very important. You have to memorize the statement as well. So here is a statement. Suppose f of z is an analytical function within and on the simple closed curve C, except at the finite number of poles. Except at the finite number of poles, it will be analytical, it is understood, which are within a complex plane C. Let R1 and R2, Rk be the residues. So in the third unit, wherever you have R, that will refers to residue. In the second unit, wherever you have R, that will refers to radius of convergence. Find residue of f of z at above poles. Then we have to prove that this statement, that is integral over C f of z into dz is equal to 2 pi I into sum of all the residues, or else I can write this as sum as n is equal to 1 to k residue of f with reference to the poles zn or the function zn. Clear? Both are equivalent, so memorize this statement as well. Why? Because in the exam they'll ask you to state and prove Cauchy's residue theorem. In such case you have to write statement as well. Now coming to the proof. So before going to theorem, I just give you a clarification. See here in just now I have done the residues, right? So whenever you have a function f of z, we know that how to find the residues. Now the use of this theorem is, suppose if you have integral of any function within a complex plane, we can evaluate this integral by using this theorem, that is 2 pi into sum of the residues. In the sense, while solving the problems, first you have to find the residue as I solved now. Fine. So after finding the residue, we have to multiply 2 pi I to find the integral of that function. Anyhow, while explaining the problem, I'll just explain that, but you just memorize the statement that whenever you have integral of a function, we can find the integration of a function by multiplying a residue with a 2 pi I. In the sense, first you have to find the residue of a given function, then multiply it with 2 pi I in order to get integration of that particular function. That is what the Cauchy's residue theorem states. Clear? Now coming to the proof. Let me prove this statement. You just copy down those two problems. Anyhow, theory notes of this will be forwarded in the group. Fine. Now let us consider a small circle or a circular region, one and the same. Around the poles, I'll just consider a circular regions around the poles. Let us consider this as a pole. So circular region around the poles I am going to consider. Let that be C1 to Ck. Fine. All the statements I'm not going to write here. Anyhow, you just copy it from the notes. Let us take small circle C1 Ck around the poles, and poles be A1 to Ak. Fine. Now by taking the branch cut or a straight cut segment, I have already explained the branch cut and straight cut segment, that it says that if you are going to take any function, integration of any function, I can split this over all the circular regions, right? In the sense, entire C can be splitted as sum of the C1s. That is, let me write this as C can be written as sum of C1 f of z into dz plus integral over C2 f of z into dz plus so on. Why? Because we have splitted the curve into k number of curves, right? So Ck into f of z into dz. Clear? What I have done is I have splitted this curve into k number of regions. So let me take this as equation 1. Fine. I have already explained the concept of Lorentz series expansion. Now I am making use of that expansion. I'll just consider it by making use of Lorentz series expansion. So what is the Lorentz series expansion around the curve? It is given by f of z is equal to n is equal to 1 to infinity an into z minus ar power of n, plus I am going to split the term a minus 1 that is principal part and analytical part. I am going to write it separately. Anyhow, I have explained this concept. Z minus AR power of M. Fine. Where AM is given by, this is clearly given in the statement of our Lorentz theorem. CR f of z divided by z minus AR power of M plus 1 into dz. So this is by the expansion of Lorentz series expansion or Lorentz series theorem. Now I am going to take M as 1. Minus 1. So if you are going to put M as minus 1, you will get A of minus 1 is equal to 1 by 2 pi I into integral over C. This is curve CR. Fine. So integral over a curve CR. Why? Because we have a CK in between curve I have taken. So f of z divided by z minus AR. When you are going to replace M as minus 1 plus 1 you are going to get. So minus 1 plus 1 will be 0. Anything power 0 will become 1. So I can rewrite this as A minus 1 as 1 divided by, it is 2 pi I into integral over CR f of z into dz. So this is what A minus 1 is. Or else if you want the value of this, I'll just cross multiply. So you will get 2 pi I into cross multiplication will give you A minus 1 will be equal to CR into, integral over a curve CR f of z into dz. Fine. I'll just rewrite this. So integral over CR f of z into dz is equal to 2 pi I into A minus 1. Now from the definition of residue of a function we have already derived that from the definition A minus 1 is none other than residue of a function f with reference to A. This is the standard representation, right? So I can take residue as, let us take residue as capital R with reference to R. So I can replace A minus 1 as R of R. In the sense it is the standard definition of residue of a function. Thereby I can write integral over a curve CR f of z into dz is equal to 2 pi I into residue is none other than capital R of small r. Fine. Just a replacement I have done where R value ranging from 1 to k. Clear? Now let me take this as equation 2. Now I am going to substitute equation 2 in equation 1. So here you have an equation 1. I hope so it is clearly visible for you. So when you are going to replace this in first equation, you can write this as, first equation will become, I'll keep LHS as it is, f of z into dz as it is. Clear? Now CR in the sense, let me replace R as 1. So if you are going to replace R as 1, what you are going to get, I'll just do here, here, put R is equal to 1. You will get C1 of f of z into dz will be equal to 2 pi I into capital R of 1. Right? Similarly, C is equal to 2. You will get 2 pi I into R2. Right? I'll just write here 2 pi I into R1 plus 2 pi I into R2 for the second term. Right? Plus so on. What it become? 2 pi I into RK. Right? From the equation 2. See, all these steps are not clearly mentioned in the notes. You have to go through the video properly. Then only you will understand. Fine. Now what is the common term here? 2 pi I. So when you take common term, what you are going to get? R1, R2 plus so on RK. Integral over C f of z into dz. RK. So this is one of the form. Or else we can write this as integral over C f of z into dz is equal to 2 pi I into what it is? Sum of the residues, right? Sum is none other than summation n is equal to 1 to k residue of a function f with reference to zn. One and the same. And this is what the Cauchy's residue theorem is that we need to prove. Clear? Hope so this theorem is clear for you. Further, if you have any queries, you can free to ask me. So in the next session, I'll be doing problems based on problems on residues of a function by using this Cauchy's theorem and some integral problems, definite integral problems. Anyhow, thank you. Continue in the next session.